You know, if you would have played along, that
Not
would have
even
all worked.
close. In my
Unmute.
excitement, I forgot to unmute. Yeah, so we hyped up this game, and it is proving to be 100% what we expected. This has been phenomenal. I'm sitting here, and we have like a text chat, and I'm just like losing my mind, going, "Oh, Sinatraa!" Like just these amazing plays that have been coming through from some of these players, and every time ShahZaM gets a kill onto Wardell, it's been amazing. And that brings me on to my first point here that I wanted to raise with you guys. Wardell versus ShahZaM.
Mhm.
Wardell pops off. Let's bring up those stats quickly and I can illustrate my point here. Wardell pops off, right? He gets so many kills. Now, ShahZaM actually managed to even it out by the end of the match, but around midway, we had Wardell at the top of TSM's scoreboard and ShahZaM towards the bottom. And yet, ShahZaM consistently seems to win out the 1v1s against Wardell. Not every single time, but fairly consistently. So I was just
Mhm.
had that thought. TJ, do you think that played a part in how
I,
Sentinels played this well?
the way I would frame that matchup is that Wardell is absolutely the nuttier aimer, but
Mm-hmm.
ShahZaM has the benefit of better map movement. A lot of the time you see ShahZaM win that 1v1,
Yeah.
he already knows exactly where Wardell is, and he's just peeking, he's swinging out into an angle and pre-firing, pre-aiming Wardell.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the 1v1s where neither AWPer knows where the other one is, they're both blind peeking, Wardell wins those every time. ShahZaM benefits a lot from his team's communication and his own, as I said, in-game long experience playing a sniper rifle in tactical shooters.
Right. One thing is very crucial about this. If we take a look very closely, there is nothing else than just, and that's very critical. 18 average combat score difference between ShahZaM and Dapr. The top 6
Mhm.
players have hardly any difference in their combat score. So I think there's hardly even to make out a difference between those. And what TJ said, I would fully agree. ShahZaM had just more of those key individual performances. As we saw though, Wardell sometimes winning amazing clutches and amazing defenses, it was ShahZaM overall had the more key aspects in his play.
She's just I've been loving watching these matchups. I think another person to kind of highlight for me was Dapr.
Mhm.
Playing that cipher, we spoke a little bit about Cutler at the top of the broadcast and how sometimes he doesn't get those kills, but he's a really good anchor. And Dapr just like he just went full on double that, right? He's gonna anchor, he's gonna frag, he's gonna do all the things. And that brings me to a point that I had written down here, and that was about their compositions. And Zest, I want to throw this one to you first.
Yeah.
TSM were running double smokes and a breach into Omen, Cypher, and Raze. So they give up a bit of sighted information, but they've got the double smokes. How do you think that factored into the way that they played and possibly their loss?
I mean, we pretty much saw it at that point. The defense was extremely weak, considering the matter of fact that we're talking about split. I mean, if there was any, the best example probably for split is the old mid 2015 nuke of CS:GO. It has been so heavily CT sided, it has been so heavily defensive sided that in this case, you can even decide to play that defensively and make it so defender sided. But they actively took that away. The thing is, TSM regularly does that. If I'm a fan of it, not at all. I don't think that is something to play with Split. If they think about doing something with that, I'm 100% convinced they have a quite good game plan. Besides the fact that they know what they do in Split. Yet again, I think this double smoke setup on this map is just a work against a good bunch of those teams. And once more, Sentinels just found the right way into it, especially that Raze Jet combination we saw with ShahZaM as well as Sinatraa is just this aggressive duo that works on both ways that gives you room, individually speaking, and also with utility.
I was really actually impressed by Drone's
Mm.
breach. And I know they lost, but he had so many rounds where he actually used that breach utility to save the game.
Well, there was
I
that
would
one
go back to
time
that.
at band camp.
I would go back to I think maybe our fourth round in where he had Sick cordoned off in this corner and he just narrowly closed out the possible angles that Sick could be in by cycling the drone utility. So I actually think that Drone's breach was really good and I'd like
Hmm.
to see more of it. although maybe someone needs to stop yelling at his team speak for that one round. But I absolutely did not like the omen on this map from Cutler. They were cipherless, and I think it showed because they were bullied so much on the B side. And a lot of those rounds, they didn't necessarily lose through a full push from B main, but because they didn't feel safe from a full push through B main, they had to play these really awkward angles around mailroom that resulted in TSM's defense being very vulnerable to the mid through mailroom split that we saw Sentinels just hammer on, particularly in the early part of the first half.
Yep.
All right. And you know what, we kind of mentioned about how Cutler had been doing so well on the Cypher yesterday, so it was a little disappointing to see him on that omen. Hopefully, when we come back for our second map, it is going to be Haven, guys. And of course, Haven is usually home to a Cypher and a Sova. Usually. We have been known to be proven wrong by some of these teams. We'll see what they throw at us. But for now, we're going to have a quick break. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Follow me down, there's no one around. Lay back and take your socks and shoes right off. That natural light is so damn polite. Can make you feel just like you were young again. Life of running wild. We're underneath the rows of trees. I will see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, the fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. You're shining forward, the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. You're shining forward, the wind is cold. Return to the wild, 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 wild.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. 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 You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never
Welcome back, guys. I said it would be a short break, and a short break it was. Before we jump straight into the next map, just want to remind everybody our amazing sponsors, Duke.gg and RunItBack.gg, your one-stop shops for everything Valorant. So, guys, Haven, what are we expecting?
I'm expecting a really fun game of Valorant. The thing about Haven for me is it
Okay.
defined. Sorry, I've got a pander. The thing about Haven to me is it is defined by rotations. It is defined by how well you as a defensive side can hold all three of those bomb sites.
Yeah.
The players rotating between the B and C side need to have a very good idea of what the attackers are doing at any given time. And if they start to go A, you need to be getting people over towards A as quickly as possible. So if we see the same weaknesses we saw from TSM on Split, where they weren't pushing aggressively, they weren't gathering intel, and Sentinels were out-rotating them on the map, I suspect the result is going to be pretty similar.
Yes, I would have sort of agreed with you on that, TJ. Yet on the other hand,
Sort
we
of.
still.
A
So
little
exactly,
bit.
sort of. I still have to be against you. We have different opinions on who's winning, so I have to throw something at you right now. The matter of
Can,
fact is that we have
sorry,
different. Yeah,
I'm going to talk over you, Vincent. What was your prediction again? TSM
Yeah, what was
TSM
that?
2-0?
Oh,
yeah.
so
2-1.
you're already
Okay,
out
so
of
your
the running.
prediction's still okay.
Guys,
So you lose.
listen. Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. It's
All
all
right, no,
good.
no, no. Keep making mistakes. Tell me what your
Yeah,
thought
yeah, yeah.
was.
I will give you all the mistakes in this world. Don't worry. So the thing is, from once more something I love, statistics. A statistical point of view is that Sentinels have a lower sample size when it comes down to the map we're going to see next. Where Team Solomid though is insanely good by hardly losing at any given time. They have a very aggressive approach with a Jet as well as Phoenix heavy in this one. Sentinels in the meantime struggle massively to find any success on it. If TSM don't win this would be regarding the not 100% existing data collection, though the second loss of in then overall 23 matches. It would be a big surprise.
Well, if TSM do take this map, then we're looking closer to my prediction. Speaking of this map, guys, I'm going to hand it over to you. Take us through Haven.
You were onto this mistake, Finn, weren't you? You were just looking for
No,
it.
the second you wanted to start talking like you predicted this, I gotta come in and point out that you absolutely didn't, Vincent.
I did.
You're on the TSM train for I think 1 second. Thank you, scoreboard, for making sure he doesn't look even slightly right. You're onto that TSM train for exactly 1 second during our pre-show, and then the second the first desk came up and we started talking through it, like you realized the error of your ways.
No.
Into a pistol round here. Sentinels are, of course, on the defense, as they will be for the start of our next two maps. TSM taking the attack first.
So, the control that they're looking for is very obvious, and Zombs-wise it would be very surprising. Sinatraa, in the meantime, Reyna makes it work, and they find one frag after
Oh my
another.
God.
This is just nasty slaughter over there onto Garage. As they come out of it, there's more and more to find. Beautiful stuff we're seeing. That's round number 1 coming in favor for Sentinels.
Sinatraa managing to just life-steal his way through a fight there. Very well done. The Frenzy earning its pay on the pistol round. Sentinels able to hold against the garage shove from TSM. I personally, if we're talking about pistol rounds on Haven, I much prefer the long shove because the attacking team can get a lot of players very close to the bomb site before they are in range for guns. Whereas if you're pushing into garage or something like this, you have really, really, really close angles. You have to check lightning fast against an unknown number of players.
Oh,
There will be an
no.
anti-eco rush, and Subroza starts strong. TSM find the first pay.
Yeah, I mean, ouch. That was a little surprising to me right there to see that one happening, as this was seemingly very uncautious by them. TSM pick up a first frag with the classic, though Sentinels shouldn't really slip this one away. The weapon advantage is in their hands.
Good early pick. Because Subroza has a rifle now, he just wants to hold, see if anyone will challenge him. It's a really good plan from TSM. Give Subroza a rifle and see what happens. They're trying to inflict as much damage as possible, but of course the spike plant is the primary goal. And that would normally mean you drift away from the axe site at this point, because you know there's been a rotate in. This is good for TSM, because Sentinels have to spread 4 players across the bomb sites, and any double commit to A can't contribute to either the B or C hold. This will probably end up on B. I would actually say C would be a better.
And as you see right there, Sinatraa getting punished in the process in the meantime. Not as well as he wanted it to, but there, ShahZaM swaps things up. TSM taking all the control they want. And so Cutler in the close range with the classic once per could do a good job, but you see that there's a lurk happening, and this could become a problem if they don't go through the smoke fast. Cutler is down, one more waiting back on the B side. They know about drone as well at the moment, and this means ShahZaM has to take a few too many angles. As the smoke's gonna fade, Hazed is gonna eliminate him, and that is a brilliant start to TSM's aggression. Because, sure, the pistol won't work, but such a wonderful eco going their way. Ouch.
No, strategy gives Subroza a rifle, pays off. Not actually because Subroza gets the kill, but it creates enough for TSM. They go for that mid-execute. I was talking about how A players are basically split up from the rest of the map. You saw the case of that there. Because of that initial A pressure from TSM, Sentinels and their 2 players chilling on the A site, they can't affect anything else. Whereas if you have players playing C, Garage, that kind of area, they can rotate in. Oh, good shot. They can rotate in and contest B.
And so, A site gets some major reinforcements already. Sentinels rotating every single player over onto A, and if TSM stick to this strategy, it might become a bit of a problem. As I say so, one finds 2 with ease. That Zombs and Sinatraa falling, the A side collapses, and there's no big problem right here. The second going for TSM, as this has just been a snack for the lads.
Very good side execute. Already showing up there, and it will be a strong start for TSM. 2 kills, or 2 rounds back-to-back were expected after they won the anti-eco. They'll now have full rifles across the board. ShahZaM pulling out that AWP. Sorry, it's the operator. I can't say AWP. He's going to bring that over towards the long A peak. And Sentinels on the shove here will be running right into his crossfire.
Recon Bolt's giving a good bit of information here to the side of TSM. Cypherless approach by Sentinels.
Take flight.
We had that Cypherless thing already going on over on Split, though I think there's a bigger importance in Cypher on Split than on Haven. Yet I still see him as a very crucial component, for example, on holding A or alternatively C. TSM, they take their time here, TJ. Very patient, very slow, and it's all coming down to mid right now.
Shoving forward, I love that. Because they get so close to the bottom of mid so fast, they catch TSM off guard, find 2 for 1 in the trade. Very low HP on Hazed as well.
Very much indeed, but how in God's name did he have any vision on Sinatraa there? Taking out the star of Sentinels, and suddenly it might just all go over to the side of C, where 30 seconds left on the clock could work quite well for them, as nobody holds that position. It's a matter of time until Sentinels should realize what's happening. There comes the first rotation. Wardell goes fast, Wardell goes on site, and this is C belonging to TSM for the moment. As the plan goes for long, it's time to retake this one.
I'm just really impressed with Wardell this round. He's pretty much single-handedly brought them back into it, and Dapr is here to send him out of it. This will be a long hold against, and that fire completely cancels the possibility of shoves. They can isolate nothing.
No, they do so. And the ShahZaM once more makes it work with the classic. The defenders win, as there is no opportunity at all for TSM to head back onto the side. Remaining on their final Brimstone. A quick check on the ults. See as both Phoenixes could just run it back. Marina also having their ults, and also the orbital to strike from the wonderful Brimstone is available. TSM, a lot of opening opportunities, a lot of info opportunities for Phoenix, for example. Could get them a quite fast approach on the site they choose.
I've really liked that double molly setup from Subroza and Hazed. The first one stopped either challenge so that Subroza could get close to Cubby. The second one just makes sure they isolate the Cubby player.
Careful now.
And as again, both Phoenix have their ults. I wouldn't be too surprised if we see Drone coming through A short swiftly to find out that nobody's actively guarding it outside of ShahZaM. Trying to take a bit more vision over there on Long. And talking about it, he falls. Wardell eliminates him. A site that now is only defended by Reyna is suddenly becoming a very vulnerable spot and an opportunity for TSM.
This was a pre-aim that was pretty easy for Wardell because ShahZaM had played that angle last round. But you're still peeking
Joke's
into a held
over!
angle.
You're dead!
There's not as much peeker's advantage in Valorant, so very impressive kill. TSM across the map are playing pretty forward towards the B site. I want to shout out Sentinels for kind of recognizing the options currently
Joke's
available.
over!
They
You're
are
Revealing dead!
stacked over towards A, but drifting that pull towards B. Really a hard take. Through the smoke!
And that means Zombs is the last one standing there actively on the B side, but Reyna as well as Sage are coming to join. As Sinatraa though falls, Sentinel's defense crumbles, remaining only on the two individuals. Zombs and Sick most likely won't stand a chance in that, as this bomb has hit the ground. And 5 TSM players. That's not really an easy task. That's not really that kind of obstacle you want to go over. And so, heading backwards, saving the weapons, and their Sentinels, they had the awareness of what's happening on the A site. Nothing with the ultimate of Phoenix, but it was just too late. And then TSM knew what they were doing. Suddenly the hunt has started on the last few weapons.
The op on Sek right now is a lot of money. If he can keep it up,
Look
that
what happened. Ah, there it falls. Talking about it. That was
almost one thing.
I got a little uncomfortable here.
Subroza, despite being saved by the round dance, just had one of his best rounds of this series. Rushing onto the site, finding a free kill through the smoke, just spamming the length. Really well played. Then he's on the hunt, denying that save of the AWP. Incredibly well played. We now have a broken economy as a result over on Sentinels. They do have a double buy-up to even up the econ. Keep your eye on what that bulldog is up to.
Careful now.
See that there. Fast movement coming in from Dapr.
Going up.
Side for the previous round. This one it's Phoenix he's picking as tries to isolate that position. They know where the spike lands, but that doesn't mean you can get a kill that easily, especially if Soba now realizing Reyna is standing in Cubby and is coming out. She should fall in them immediately, and that's exactly what happened. Sentinels can only work it off of one man, and as TSM got every single opportunity to go pretty much everywhere they want, should get a fourth with ease of mind. Saying so, Zombs falls.
If Zombs can find himself like one more kill here, this is a one round no matter what. As is, the amount of economic damage they did into this round is already huge. And I really don't like how split TSM are playing right now. The theory is solid, Subroza is cutting off the rotate, but if he doesn't drift back towards A right now, he's going to get in trouble. Luckily, Subroza is a great video game player, so he's well aware of this.
Surprise,
He will be over to the A site before the timing works out such that there could be a challenge from A long. And Bulldog in hands, you could maybe pick up a rifle from long, make a case for just saving. Zombs looks like he wants to just push them.
I mean, the economy of Sentinels
Here we
doesn't
go.
really allow it.
He's got himself a rifle. Plenty of guns dropped. Really good econ rounds. He did just trip the trap wire though. So he's gonna get hunted. Really good econ round though, assuming he doesn't die. TSM have only one player to hunt him. This will be Subroza.
And even the economy from TSM is not that great. I mean, getting that frag that brings TSM only down to 2 individuals was extremely pivotal. Speaking so, Zombs falls last second, and this means that, well, it could have been at least one man with thicker pockets. Not in this scenario. Sinatraa buying up any second
right.
soon.
Still will be a full buy, but they, I think, would have scraped together an orb if they had the extra bank account on
Yeah.
Zombs. So, a little bit of a shame on that front. As is, Sentinels will have a full buy across the board. It is another gun round. TSM with the lead on this map.
run!
Won't be losing things.
Uh-oh. Then realizing how to use sword, right? I mean, he definitely pushed everybody away from the side of A. In the meantime, the read of Sinatraa is amazing, but Wardell knows the reply and the antidote. As Reyna falls, Garage is fairly open. It just depends on the approach from Sentinels right now. They send Brimstone into the location and shift the majority of the players over to C. But Sentinels, they still got a good bunch of options for the moment.
Wardell will drift back to play safe. All of TSM cancelled the push after that initial trade. I am really interested in that pick that Sinatraa got. It looked like it was just a pre-lined up spam, because that's just the entry through the courtyard, right? But it wasn't start of round. The door was already shredded. So my theory is he spammed start of round, then waited a beat, then fires through the wall again to find another kill.
Could have possibly been the case, absolutely. This is where the recon dart of ShahZaM is going to become very interesting. I'm very much looking forward to if he's going to put it to use anytime soon, but most likely he doesn't. Sinatraa is being revived, and Sentinels back on to full force. The Molotov denies a good bit of access. Drone is just now pushing on the side and being revealed. Same for his teammates, and that is not going to work. It comes at the right time, and that's denial.
Still got it.
And even that way, you get more and more. Beautiful
Hazed
jump.
finds a triple spray down to close out the round, but it's still unwinnable. Good ability usage by Sentinels on the site. You very correctly called out Zombs' contributions to the round. His Molotov stopping the push into the site initially. That takes it long enough that you throw down the orbital strike. Just end the round instantly.
Together. Still got it.
Taking a look at it again. That was amazing by Hazed, but you saw how crucial and how goddamn good that ultimate was. Won them the round and got them a
Smoke's
third
down.
on the board. Means now Zombs is trying to deny them any further on getting onto B. It seems like they're having none of that, as Wardell tries to join, fails to do so, and Sick with the double might make it a triple anytime soon, but Drone replies correctly. This is the B site that became pretty much a slaughterhouse at the moment, and nobody of TSM comes out as a survivor.
ShahZaM will be just holding this corner, waiting for Cutler to dare step out of his spawn.
Goner.
As Hazed gets picked up. The only member of TSM left is Cutler, who was hiding in the spawn, and even that is not safe. Sentinels get real aggressive that time. And that is very viable here on Haven. Because of how spread out the map is, the more aggressive you can hold defensively, the fewer parts of the map you actually have to worry about. Sentinels were able to do it there because of their initial picks. Obviously, it's not a tactic you could reliably pull off against a team as good as TSM. But it is something to keep your eye on if TSM keep over-grouping towards one side at the start of round. If Sentinels keep getting aggressive, it will punish exactly that.
Shock dart.
And for now, Sentinels, a team that is not so successful, on
Revealing
Haven,
area.
might just reveal their value over on this free-sided map. A slow approach from TSM, have not really made up their mind yet where to go as they try to find a bit more information and might hope for a mistake on the Sentinel side. In the meantime, they know going in the direction of Sinatraa when it comes down to this wall really doesn't pay off. It's a minute left on the clock and it's time to finalize your thoughts and make up your minds, and Phoenix seemingly does so.
And this is the effect of that aggression in the previous round. You can see TSM playing very, very safe, waiting for a shove to come in. So Sentinels, because they were so aggro last round, get a minute burned off the clock for TSM before anything happens.
Deploying
Without
drone.
needing to be aggressive this time.
The hunt
Drone
begins.
That might become interesting. Saying so, Reyna's coming for you. Subroza's down, and there he knows. There's more to come with just that, but that's denial. The wall banks are too massive. Sinatraa moves back and needs to hope for a heal. Gets that one for herself, or more likely himself in this case. And that one is seemingly done and dusted. One after another fall. Sentinels only got Wardell in the way, and the 5th round belongs to the squad. It has to make it look, you know, a little bit more confident when it comes down to this map.
A result, again, of how much time was burned at the start of rounds. TSM had so little time to use utility. By the time they're actually pushing in, you still have full kit from Sentinels. They still have everything in their bank account to make sure no shove comes through. TSM with 45 seconds left can't wait out anything. They've got to start pushing through smokes into the blinds from the Lear. That pays huge dividends for Sentinels.
It very much does. In the meantime, frags are coming in left, right, and center. Brilliant job by Dapr, as TSM can only rely on to 2, and just a few seconds have passed. With that being said, the C side seems to become their main goal, as Sick is moving away from it. He's placed the wall, but it's not made out of concrete. It's just ice, and this one is melting anytime soon.
Very, very fun. Sorry, I'm just catching up on what you just said, Vincent. Does that imply concrete melts? I'm gonna get back to you on that. Very, very clean positioning from Sentinels. They know what's going on here, so they're gonna wait, not re-enter immediately.
Joke's
Wait
over.
till they have
You're
3
dead.
players here. Then quit.
Blocking sight.
And as you see right there, Wardell realizes that he needs to move out of the flames. Sentinels still got a quite massive obstacle coming their way. That operator is such a dangerous tool in the hands of Wardell. So his movement is somewhat limited. Here comes the ult. Wardell trying to make it with the jumps. Can he deny the fuse? Dapr knows exactly what he's doing. And this causes once more the defenders to find a quite bit of success. The 6-4 is just wonderful to watch from Sentinels. As in the meantime, TSM really have to change something up in their game.
Really well played by Sentinel's positioning and cooled it down in round. But the fact they understand, okay, we've got to hide around the corners, just wait till we get some kind of sign, so we're not playing 1v2 on site. And the push comes in from TSM, rotate comes through. Just fundamentals, but very well executed fundamentals.
You see what I see today?
I did
Do you
look
see what
there
I
a-
see?
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh,
I had
Rambo
like
has
a moment of
jumped
joy. I was like, oh my god. Why is my screen gone grey? Answer was Sinatraa opening up. That's the same wallbang he's been doing every round. Previously, he was being really, really careful, you know, spamming at tactical times.
Right.
Now it's just Odin go burr. This is a full C rush nobody's looking at because it's ice walled. That ice wall won't hold back TSM.
Joke's over. You're
Back
dead.
And as we're seeing right there, Zombs and his crew are realizing quite easily that this C side is not to be retaken that easily. As, you know, even the Odin can change that fact. TSM though with a man disadvantage might just lose another, but no, that's not the Odin job that could have worked. More little falls, retreat.
Smoke down.
Pardon, it's gonna retreat coming in immediately. As Sick and Co. Really gotta consider if they do so. They really gotta consider it. Sneaking up here from Garage. Sick is coming in with the double. The revive was not the right move, but ShahZaM is still on the hunt. Saw a bit of the shoulder and makes it work. Sentinels keep up the pace, and they keep on performing in a way that's so enjoyable.
Pulls out the rifle. Goes just as big on it. Sentinel, despite a bit of a fumbled res there, I can't think of a world in which it is safe to go for the res there unless you think the final player is holding all the way down long. But you can gain that information real quick by pushing out on the side. Get the res afterwards. So a little bit sloppy, maybe some mixed up comms there, but Sentinels don't lose it because of ShahZaM's capable rifling. He has been struggling this game. A lot of that, I think, can be attributed to the fact that these shoves have tended to be over towards the B and C sides of the map, so it just hasn't seen too much action. We'll have a chance here, though. I think he can get a
Revealing
quick
area.
challenge to start the round.
Sinatraa.
He got another one!
I would really be upset. I would really be upset. But I mean, this guy is continuously putting a laser through that wall. You don't really want to run into that. And as that laser was successful, TSM down to 4 players. As 6 starts up, ShahZaM might just join the party. Exactly thus. Suddenly, the options run out for TSM. With 1 minute and 10 left on the clock, they're gonna make it work with 2.
What? Why are they still peeking courtyard? I don't understand. How many times has Sinatraa found the kill with that exact wall spam? Now twice in a row with Odin, which is not, I might add, the most subtle gun. A 1v4 now. Cutler does find one and gets orbital struck out of the video game. 8-4.
This is a very worrying situation right now here to be in for TSM. I mean, they're a dominant, strong force. They're a tank on this wonderful map called Haven. They make great defense. They
Not
make great
against Sentinels.
I don't understand what it is.
Nobody guarantees map wins against a team as good as Sentinels.
That's true. That's still the weird aspect to me.
No, the Sentinels' defense was just really clean, and now that it's TSM's side on what I consider the spotlight side of this map, what I mean by that is defense is the space where your errors make the most difference on Haven because you have those 3 bomb sites. So if you make errors on defense, it will define the game. You have a room to influence the game outcome. So on their side here, I was very curious to see how their balance would work out, and it turns out it is literally Cypher solo A.
Caught one.
Strap the people want these guys.
This is what makes a good Cypher. Tripwire for a free frag, even when you're smoked. And that is right now causing a bit of trouble. Nobody even knows where everybody is. And Sentinels only got 2 options to make this work. Let me correct it. It might be just one anytime soon. As Wardell walks around the sites, Dapr falls, and this means... We'll take a look at that. The bomb is just absolutely changing directions. And this could be a quite good one here for Sick, as he could make it work whatever way he likes. He changes up pace.
Oh, I like that ice wall.
That's the fake wall,
I
right?
really like that ice wall. Obviously they can get through that, but they have to sound cue him so he can bait it. He doesn't peek this, ideally, and then waits till he hears the sound cue of them fighting. Ice wall
This is so
does
good.
that.
This is so good. This is enjoyable from Sick. He outplays them, knows where the bomb is, and just needs to do 1 or 2 shots here on the remaining Sova. Just right now, waiting for the right peak. Jiggle and jiggle. There comes the defuse in. Just once more has been aborted, and Sick keeps on playing. He keeps on playing games. It's him reloading, but it's not being Sick. Sick, do something about this, please. It's 1 more shot, and this man might just save the day. My God, Sick.
All right, the reload was a little rough, but Sick, absolutely dominant there towards the end. I love the ice wall. I love the play around it. Just very content, not peeking. Says, I'm just going to jiggle peek this corner until you come out and fight me. Beautiful.
This was astonishing, wonderful. What do you want to say about that? I really, really loved seeing it like that. And so, TSM very unsatisfied about the round.
So, good opener.
Deploying drone.
Analysis. I'm just popping up with the Bulldog, which I always respect. My stream went very briefly to hell. I don't know if you saw that, but the feed I'm watching was dipped in hot sauce for a real quick second. Sentinels will benefit from the opening trade, of course, because TSM now need to cover 3 bomb sites with 4 players. More so than most maps, even trades favor the attacking side. They're going to try and exploit this with a full A shove. Again, it is solo Cypher. None of the setup, of course, he normally has, though, which should mean this is a pretty clean round.
Absolutely. I mean, it should be a clean round with ShahZaM playing Hazed. That's a step in the right direction, and post-round placement ends with Zombs suddenly on 5 points of health. I'm not quite sure how long he has seen Wardell up there. It's a little crazy, but either way, that should not work out for TSM, especially when those stars land in your direction. It gets a little uncomfortable. More and more coming in the direction of Cutler and Co. There they collapse. 2 part of 3 more rounds for Sentinels to make this an easy 2-0. And I mean, my prediction is already down the drain, but it might just become worse.
Really well played. Very clean round.